Good morning, everyone. Let's do some prayers before our class. Om Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parbrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Om Bhur Bhavaswaha, Tatsavitra Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi, Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat, Asto Ma Sadgamya, Tamso Ma Jyotirgamya, Mrityorma Amritam Gamya. Om Sehna Bhavatu Sehna Bhanatu Saviryam Karvavahe Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidveshavai. Om Shanti 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 Om. Today I'm going to go over a couple of terms which we often use, the duty and the rituals. Just a little understanding of these two terms. Many people are concerned about their rights, but little aware of their duties. There's a vast difference between rights and duties. Unless we know what our duties are, we cannot fully understand what our rights are. So demanding rights without accepting duties leads a person to many problems. Duty is that which a person is responsible for. That without which a person cannot live a happy and peaceful life. That's a duty. Duty is the universal law that unites us with another. Duty unites all the members of a family and maintains its peace and harmony. It is because of the law of duty that the family, society, the nation, and the entire universe continue to exist. So the concept of duty is far superior to the instinctual urges. Think about it. When we relate to our family, society, and nation, because we are tied by the rope of attachment or fear, then we are not following the law of duty. But when we act with full knowledge and understanding, when we know that all our actions are performed for the sake of peace and harmony, and we are centered towards inner exploration, only then we are following the law of duty. The highest of all duties is to realize our own inner self in its purity and entirety, and at the same time allowing others to do the same. All other duties are subservient to this central one. That's why it said following our own dharma is to attain the highest duty. which is also called self-realization. But to do this, we must fully understand what dharma is. The term dharma is variously translated as virtue, duty, morality, righteousness, or even religion. But no single English word can convey the whole or the correct meaning of dharma. According to the Vedic rishis, dharma is the intrinsic nature of rit, the breath of cosmic life. One who wants to breathe and live properly is not supposed to disturb the breath of cosmic life. So that means disturbing others disturbs the rhythm of the cosmic breath. That's why it's called adharam, opposite of dharma. But performing our dharma establishes peace and harmony in the breath of cosmic life. So all those activities that are helpful in coordinating our life with cosmic life constitute our duty or dharma. This concept of duty is so vast, it's so deep, that it's very hard to specify what one's duty is in every case. First of all, we have to develop insight into the real nature of duty so that we can correctly understand our own individual duty. Only then we can follow the dharma. Because there's always a hierarchy in our duties. Everywhere, at every moment, some kind of a duty is involved. And that's why we have to be very discriminating to understand the appropriate duty that is to be performed at a particular time and place. Knowing our role in life can help us realize our primary duty. So in other words, there are some primary duties of a human being, and then there are secondary duties. For example, it is the highest duty of a mother to take care of her small baby. Small baby. While the highest duty of a teacher is to teach. And the duty of a student is to study. And that of a doctor is to take care of his patients. But even an appropriate action is not truly dutiful if it is performed under pressure or with the intention of earning reward. Then it does not stay as a duty, it becomes a business contract. Our Vedic rishis, they say that Vedic rituals are the highest duties we have to perform. That's why I wanted to cover the little definition of rituals also. They also explain and demonstrate that our Vedic command may be comparatively more important than others in one context, other commands may be more important in other contexts. So all duties are our highest duties in some regard. But they must be thought of and performed in the proper time and place, or else they lose their validity. Let's look at the concept of ritual. Many people regard the trappings of ritual like burning candles, sprinkling water, offering flowers, reciting mantras, performing certain gestures, etc., as the ritual itself. But remember that these acts are only the external appearances of the actual ritual. When a person understands the inner meaning of these externals, only then that person can start enjoying the divine grace that flows through the practice of rituals. So that means we got to understand the deeper significance of the mantras also, why we offer, what we offer, how we offer, the meaning behind all that. Rituals provide a context in which a person receives full opportunity to understand the value of action. Most people lack a positive, productive attitude toward their daily activities or job, performing them only to earn money or status. On the other hand, by practicing rituals can help us to be more aware and understand a higher viewpoint. We all have a morning routine, which is composed of various steps. For example, a working person will awaken early, will go to the bathroom, will brush the teeth, washes the face, takes a shower, dresses, and finally eats breakfast. That person will do all these actions if the higher end or aim is kept in mind. That itself becomes ritual. But if the actions have no higher end or aim, then simply just to reach to the office or start the work. And if the higher end is not kept in mind, then the person will not enjoy the activities which he performed. From the bathroom through breakfast. And the whole life rotates in a similar mechanical framework because of his mundane view of existence. On the other hand, if we view the daily unexceptional routines of life as rituals to be performed with awareness, it will provide us a way to spiritualize and enjoy all activities in order to expand the center of consciousness while performing necessary actions. That's why our rishis, they say, when you get up, look at your hands. Look at the God in them. God resides everywhere, not only in the seventh heaven, in your own hands, and there are mantras for that. When you put your feet on the floor, Thank the Mother Earth. When you take a bath also, shower also, remember Ganga Mata. That's how we spiritualize every action of ours. When we eat breakfast also, before we take a first bite in our mouth, thank God. See the Brahm in the food also, see the Brahm in the process of eating also, digesting also. It becomes a sacred ritual. So the true role of rituals is to spiritualize all actions for higher attainment. In other words, a ritual is a mental attitude. When we decide to make breakfast an offering or oblation to the gastric fire in the service of the divine being within, then the whole process is transformed. Although the activities are the same, but through the different mental attitude, it becomes a ritual. If we analyze the inner nature of ritual, as explained in our Vedic literature, we will realize that those rituals and sacrifices provide training for daily living. So rituals are not only in front of the altar. The altar we expand everywhere, it's an altar. The desk in our office, the office itself, the building, the car we sit in, the people we work with, the relationship changes. In regard to this claim, what the Vedas, Vedic seers are saying, there are two rituals mentioned in the beginning of the Sat Path Brahman. And you're all familiar with this Brahman word. The section of the Vedas is called Brahmans. So Sat Path Brahman. There is a one is called Darshaha, the other one is Puranamasaha. If you study those rishis are telling us that perform these rituals, the daily activities, have a mental preparation in advance. That way, when you take the meal also, you eat food. Or when you sleep also, there is a devotional attitude while sleeping also. There's a positive mood when you eat also. Instead of criticizing how the food is made, how it's looking, you are looking at the Brahm, the positive attitude. And when a person rises early in the morning, performs usual ablutions also, taking some water, food, and preparing a meal. In performing these activities as part of the ritual, a person develops an attitude of living in God consciousness. So as a mother, if we are cooking for the children, we are making a prasad, no matter which meal we are making. That's why even at our age, we remember how our mother's food tasted. I'm sure you can all testify to that. Because their attitude was positive. For them, it was a ritual. They put a lot of positive energy into that food. Every moment, every action in our life can be experienced in God consciousness. Whether we are doing exercise, whether we are walking, taking care of someone, or being taken care by someone. Never forgetting God. In this divine frame of mind, the person performing the ritual brings water in which divinity is contained, and God consciousness is maintained as the person is cleaning even the dishes, or the rice, or the vegetables, or the fruits, and finally serving it and offers it to the divinity. The participants of the Darsha and Puranmasa transcend the physical plane and interpret ordinary physical activities in a subtle and divine light. The explanation of all of this is mentioned in our Vedas. They have a specific concept in mind. For example, in the ritual of cleaning rice, they think, who can separate dirt or pebbles from the rice but the almighty discriminating agency that is God? So they remember that even though that it seems like that I am performing these actions, washing the rice, cooking the rice, it's not because of me. It is God who is allowing me to do so. So that kind of attitude, that's how we transcend from a mere doers to Karam Yogi, to Gyan Karam Sannyasi, and ultimately Karam Sannyasi. So these rituals done this way can take us to that level. Rituals are performed not to worship or please any deity, but rather simply because the Veda commands us to perform them. So they are practiced, rituals are practiced for the sake of duty. So that's how these two are related, the duties and the rituals. Ultimately, the food is cooked and served, and through the use of that positive energy, we even offer that food to the divine. A person mentally feels the presence of the divinity, offering food and water exactly as it would be offered to a physical being. You feel the presence of God right next to you. Divinity has bestowed. The entire process is an unbroken meditation. In fact, meditation in action, where our body and mind are perfectly harmonized. That's what rituals do. In the scriptures, all processes, physical, mental, and spiritual, are considered to be essential aspects of rituals. Remember that. That's why I say that if we are doing the rituals without understanding the meaning, we are not doing the rituals properly. During the whole procedure, the mind does not have time to dissipate it because of the intense feeling of the presence of the divinity. Because if we feel God is right there, how can we let the mind go anywhere else? Mind is totally, firmly absorbed into the divine being. The scriptures say that a person who performs darsha or puranmasha enjoys the celestial pleasure of heaven. Because in the Vedas, rishis, they have encouraged the beginners with these kind of fruits also. But on the other hand, we can see that it's not heaven after we leave this body. We all know that when a person is depressed, frustrated, dejected, or emotionally disturbed, that person is living in a fierce darkness of hell. Right here. There could be plenty full outside. But inside with these kind of a negative emotions, that is a hell. But when a person is cheerful, positive, compassionate, the person is enjoying the celestial joy of heaven, both within and without. So the highest goal of a ritual is not to enjoy a distant future heaven, but to be free from all bondages here and now. Actions that are not performed selflessly for the sake of duty and as a part of the ritual are like thorny trees. Remember, I said not performed selflessly. So selflessness has to be a big portion of our action. So actions that are not performed selflessly for the sake of duty. So even a person is doing the duty, but selflessness is not there. And as a part of ritual are like thorny trees. And thorny trees will produce only the poisonous fruits of pain and misery. Remember that. And no one likes that. We want to run away from the pain and the misery. So the Vedic seers, they gave us a prescription for that. Bring more and more selflessness into your duties. But actions that are performed selflessly, so opposite of that, for the sake of duty and as a part of a grand lifelong ritual in the service of divinity, are like beautiful trees. And those trees will produce the nutritious fruits of love and joy. In fact, those beautiful fruits have the power to destroy all the poisonous shrubs. They will clear out all the thorny bushes in the garden of human life. That is the effect of those positive, beautiful fruits. So actions performed for duty's sake are rituals. But actions performed without proper understanding are mere actions. So mere actions bind us further. But if we are understanding what our duty is at any given point and doing it selflessly, we are cutting the ropes of this bondage. And that is our main purpose here. To keep on cutting these ropes which are binding us life after life. Our Vedic seers, they believe that we can cut our own poisonous plant of past karma with the powerful acts of present karma. And performing rituals help in this process. So in other words, every action which we do, if we make it as a ritual, we are really progressing on this path. Because the rituals are designed to train the mind and to provide a lifelong schedule for a person to follow that does not allow us to feel lonely or forsaken by God. And that's what Rishi Patanjali meant when he started Yoga Sutras in that beautiful scripture which is called Yog Darshan. Ath Yoga Anushasana. That Anushasana word is also a very deep word. Okay, the whole life has to be dutiful also and take it seriously as rituals. Only then this lifelong routine, designed in a framework of positivity and God consciousness, will enable us to enjoy this very life here. And now, it's not just in future. The minute we start living our life like this, we will start enjoying it. Under the same circumstances, our mind will be peaceful. Obstacles are here. Problems will come, but your mind is peaceful. And you are in heaven. And you can really, truly explore the inner avenues of your being. Because otherwise, if we are constantly disturbed, constantly worried, we really cannot clean up the inside of us. So remember that these dogmas, these religious ceremonies, which we often think are the rituals, that is not true. Sure, they are beginning tools for going inward, but that's all. Beginning tools. Through them, we can learn how to organize our life. But then we have to prepare a lifelong plan so that we can utilize our time properly. Because there are fixed number of breaths given to us according to our own karmas. So in those fixed number of breaths, what do we do? That freedom we have. And we have to use that freedom properly by understanding at any given point what is my duty and how can I ritualize it. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnam Adaya Purnameva Vishishyate. Om Shanti 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 Om. Thank you very much.